Chapter 3 Quadratic Equations Part 6. In this video, I would like to introduce what is the relationship between the coefficients of a quadratic equation and the root. I want to use the following example to illustrate what is the relationship between the coefficients. What is the variable coefficient? That means this 1 is the coefficient of x squared, -5 is the coefficient of x, and 6. What is the relationship between this three number and the root? So let's see. For the first questions, you can see if we solve it, the root is equal to x is equal to 2 or x is equal to 3. Not very difficult to observe. Can you see the multiplication of this two number, which is equal to the constant term, and then the addition of the sum of these two roots, which is equal to 5, which is equal to the negative of the coefficient of x. Let's see, can we find this relationship in question B and C? You may solve these two questions by using your calculator. You can see the multiplication of these two numbers, which is equal to 8. The sum of these two roots is equal to 6, which is equal to the negative coefficient of x. You can see this relationship in this example. I also want to demonstrate one more example. If the coefficient of x squared is not equal to 1, what's the relationship? Okay, let's see next questions. Page 12, example 3.21. In example 3.2, if we solve this quadratic equations, the root is equal to 1/2 and -1. The multiplication of these two numbers, which is not equal to the constant term, and then the addition, -1 plus 1/2 is equal to -1/2, which is not equal to the coefficient, negative coefficient of x. Then, what is the relationship? But we can use another way to think about it. In the previous question, I know the coefficient of x squared must be equal to 1, so I change it. Divide by 2. Now you can observe the multiplication of these two numbers, the root, is equal to -1 times 1/2, which is equal to the constant term. How about addition? Add them together. I mentioned before this is equal to -1/2. It's a negative coefficient of x. Question B, you can also find this relationship. Before that, you need to help me to amend it. This is 2. One typo. And then we can also change the coefficient of x squared, become 1 first, divide 3. And you can also find this amazing relationship. Multiplication of these two roots is equal to the constant term. And add them together is equal to 1/3, negative coefficient of b. So this is the summary. What I want to emphasize, if we have a quadratic equations, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, if alpha and beta are the root of this quadratic equations, what is the relationship between alpha and beta and the root? Step 1, you need to change to this form. The coefficient of x squared must be equal to 1, and multiply these two terms together is equal to c/a, and then add them together, which is equal to the negative of the coefficient of x. So this is the summary. You may use this relationship to find some unknown. Okay, let's see next page. Page 13. Example 3.22. It is given that the sum of the root, that means alpha plus beta, if the root of this quadratic equation is alpha and beta, add them together, which is equal to -1/2. How to find the values of k? I know sum of root is equal to negative b. B is the coefficient of x. over a, which is equal to negative 1 over 2. So k over k plus 1 is equal to 1 over 2. We can multiply 2 on both sides and multiply k plus 1 on both sides. And then cross out all the denominator. 2k is equal to k plus 1. Minus k on both sides, k is equal to 1. This is the answer. How about example 3.23? Let's see. If one of the wood is negative 8, find other wood and the values of k. What can we do? I know if one of the wood is equal to negative 8, let's observe the quadratic equations. I know sum of wood is equal to negative k over 1. Product of wood is equal to negative 24 over 1. If I know one of the woods, I can find either wood immediately. Let alpha be the other woods. I know alpha times negative 8 is equal to negative 24. Divide negative 8 on both sides, 3. After you find the values of alpha, you can find k by considering sum of wood. Negative k, negative b over a, that means negative k over 1, negative k is equal to sum of wood. Negative 5. Done, finish. For exercise 17, you may do it. Pause the video and check the answer after you finish. Let's check the answer. Sum of wood is equal to negative 5. So I know negative b over a is equal to negative 5. So negative 5 over k is equal to negative 5. Multiply k on both sides and then divide negative 5. K is equal to 1. This is the end of the introduction of the relationship between the coefficient and the wood. We have more discussion on our lesson.